Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody, man. Welcome to the very first episode of the Morning Watch with Damein and Donald. And the reason I decided to do this is because there's a lot of news that is relevant to Christians and to Christianity. And I think it's being overlooked. I think it's being looked at with a very secular overtone to them. And these things absolutely involve us. It's up to us, man, to make sure that we're paying attention to what's going on. We're looking for the signs of the seasons, so to speak, of what's going on in the world around us. So today, we're going to be talking about a whole host of things, man. But we're going to be looking at the Nigerian Christian genocide. We're going to see Nicki Minaj speaking out about the Nigerian Christian genocide. Cam Higbee in Dearborn, Michigan, that city council meeting was probably one of the craziest things that I think that I have ever seen in my entire life. You know, it's very, very odd whenever they are able to do the things that they're able to do, and the police not even do anything about it, right? And you'll see that. We'll get to that whenever we get there. Also, this guy, Jake Lang. I'm going to talk a lot about Jake Lang today because I find it very, very crazy that he would approach things the way that he approaches them, right? I mean, do I agree with some of what he's saying? Yes, I do. And do I feel like he has the right to be able to say the things that he's saying? Yes. But what are your modes of bringing information to the people? Are you bringing people together, or are you dividing people, right? Are you standing against something, or are you causing more and more problems than what it's worth, right? I mean, because the reality is a lot of times I believe that you're basically, you're tearing down rather than building. And I don't think that that's the right way to do it. I don't think that's the right way to bring people into the fold is by doing things like taking a Quran and hitting it with bacon. I mean, come on, man. Seriously? I mean, that's crazy. That makes absolutely no sense. So the first thing we're going to look at is this Nigerian Christian genocide, and it is kind of a wild situation. Let's get over there. Right now we're on ground news. Let me turn that off. I'm sorry, I forgot. We're on ground news. Ground news is great, man, because you can basically see what everyone's saying about a subject. We're not going to be using that function of it this morning. But we are going to look at where the White House is focused on Christian persecution globally, especially in Nigeria, where President Donald Trump designated the country a country of particular concern due to violence against Christians by Islamic territories. Christians in Nigeria face severe violence from groups like Boko Haram, and with reports documenting over 7,000 Christians were killed, 7,800 abducted in 2024, according to the Inner Society. So if you've got 7,000 Christians killed and 7,800 abducted, what would you call that? I mean, I see all these people saying, oh, this is not a genocide, that's not this, and this is not that. Well, then what is it? What is it? If that's not what it is, then what is it? Somebody please let me know. Let me know in the comments what it is if that's not what it is. Because that's what it sounds like to me. And we have all these schoolgirls, these school children who were abducted. We're gonna be looking at that. We have these school children who were abducted. They came in, they just ravaged the place. It's so crazy. It's absolutely insane that this is going on in the world around us and that we are kind of just sitting around watching it happen. Why is it that Christians are the only people on the planet that it's okay to persecute? You got all these people who stand for the rights of everybody, but then you don't have hardly anybody stand for the rights of Christians. I mean, I can tell you the answer because Jesus said the world's going to hate you, right? It's not going to love you. We were not promised that we're going to have riches and all that nonsense that secular Christianity tries to push on everybody. That's not true, man. We will be persecuted. We will be. That's Jesus's words, man. In this world, you're going to have tribulations. You're going to be persecuted. It says if you suffer with him, then you shall also be glorified with him, right? So we were not promised that we're going to have all that other stuff. So when we see this persecution of Christians kind of unfolding in the world around us and we see what's going on in the world around us, we can be vigilant. We can be watchful, be sober-minded, watching for that ravenous roaring lion who prowleth about seeking whom he may devour, right? And he is absolutely devouring them at this point in time. And I think it's very important that we pay attention to those things. So let's have a look at these girls who were kidnapped. I think you guys will find this kind of appalling. In fact, I know you'll find it appalling. Let's have a look.
The West African nation of Nigeria has been plunged into a tense and troubling chapter, drawing global attention as high-profile kidnappings of children and disturbing accusations of religiously driven killings intensify. Here's what you need to know. On Monday, November 17th, gunmen attacked the Government Girls Comprehensive Secondary School before dawn in Nigeria's northwestern Kebbi
3 days
state.
ago.
The attackers killed a staff member and abducted 25 schoolgirls from a dormitory. One student, who is not among the 25 confirmed abducted, escaped in the minutes that followed the attack, the school's principal told the Associated Press. He also said that another schoolgirl among the abducted escaped her captors and arrived home safely later Monday night. Security forces, meanwhile, visited the school hours after the attack and directed soldiers to conduct intelligence-driven operations and relentless day and night pursuit of the abductors, according to an Army statement. No group has claimed responsibility for taking the missing girls, but analysts and locals say it could be one of several gangs that often target schools, travelers, and remote villagers in kidnappings for ransom. Mass school kidnappings are not uncommon in northern Nigeria, where dozens of armed gangs of mostly nomadic herdsmen and, more recently, jihadis operate. Most notably, back in 2014, 270 schoolgirls were kidnapped by the extremist terror group Boko Haram in the northeastern town of Chibok. While many of the girls managed to escape or were later released, some have never been returned. Schools are often strategically targeted for kidnappings in order to gain more attention, analysts told AP. The troubling new kidnapping comes after the nation had been already under intense pressure in recent weeks over claims of religious violence and killings towards Christians in the country. Since 2009, the Islamist militant group Boko Haram, which later split into an offshoot of ISIS to become the Islamic State West Africa Province, have launched an insurgency in Nigeria.
Good morning, Tina.
Since then, more than 125,000 Christians have been slaughtered and 19,000 churches have been destroyed, according to a report by non-governmental human rights organization Intersociety. However, some analysts have said that such figures may be exaggerated, arguing that religious identities aren't always reported and motivations of attacks can be unclear, making breakdowns of violence by religion impossible, according to the Associated Press. On November 1st, President Trump warned in a Truth Social post that the United States would go into the African nation guns a-blazing with military force if they don't stop Islamic extremists from killing Christians. Days later, Trump announced that the West African nation had been placed on the list of countries of particular concern, a designation for countries which fail to secure religious freedoms for citizens.
Christianity is facing an existential threat in Nigeria. Thousands and thousands of Christians are being killed. Radical Islamists are responsible for this mass slaughter. I am hereby making Nigeria a country of particular concern. That's a legal definition.
Now, I want y'all to remember, man, think about what we just looked at. So 7,000 Christians were killed in 2024. 7,800 were taken captive, right? So I ask again the same question that I asked earlier. You know, what do you call that if it's not a genocide? What do you call it? What do you call it? I mean, we are the only people on the face of the planet that no one seems to care whenever it's us being attacked. It's kind of, I mean, you hear all this stuff about genocide all day long from people who don't even know what a genocide is 99.99999% of the time. You hear all that nonsense falling out of their mouths, but whenever it's a Christian, when it's Christian people who are being devoured, who are being taken out, no one cares when they're being unalived, when the kids are being kidnapped, whenever all this stuff's going on. So what is the disconnect? What is the disconnect?
This population of 220 million people is split nearly evenly by Christians and Muslims, with the Christian population focused in the south and its Muslim population concentrated in the north, where most attacks occur, according to the Associated Press. Various compiled footage obtained by Reuters shows the horrific aftermaths of religious violence over the past few years. The harrowing images include bloodstained pews from church shootings,
Man, that's
mass graves
crazy.
being dug, and charred bodies littering the ground. On social media, American rapper Nicki Minaj made waves after she publicly thanked President Trump for shedding light on the issue. On Tuesday, she participated in a United Nations event with U.S. Ambassador Mike Waltz to discuss the troubling conflict.
Faith is under attack in way too many places. In Nigeria, Christians are being targeted, driven from their homes, and killed. Churches have been burned. Families have been torn apart, and entire communities live in fear constantly, simply because of how they pray.
Since the U.S.'s placement of Nigeria on the countries of particular concern list, the country's foreign ministry vowed the federal government of Nigeria will continue to defend all citizens, irrespective of race, creed, or religion. Like America, Nigeria has no option but to celebrate the diversity that is our greatest strength.
So what does that mean, to celebrate the diversity that is their greatest strength? I mean, what does that even mean, right? So what you're saying is that since it's diverse, it's okay, or that it should be excused that people of one religious group constantly, consistently, and violently attack members of the other side of that coin, that children would be kidnapped, that farmers would be unalived and their land would be taken. I mean, is that what you're saying? Is that what you're saying is okay? Is that what you're going to defend? And how do you defend that? How do you defend that? How do you defend something so heinous? And yet we see people doing it every single day, man. I'm telling you right now, man, the world has flipped upside down. It's not your grandmother's America, man. It's not even your mother's America. Things have changed so radically and so drastically over the past few years, man, the past, 10, 20 years, that, I mean, our grandparents wouldn't even recognize this place anymore, man. They wouldn't even recognize it anymore. It's insane. So we heard him speak there a little bit about Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj says she will speak at the UN with Ambassador, and she did, and we're going to be seeing that as well. So on Tuesday at the United States Mission of the United Nations in New York, Nicki Minaj highlighted alleged Christian persecution in Nigeria and thanked President Donald Trump for prioritizing the issue. Here's the question. I don't think when you think of Nicki Minaj that you think of a well-rounded Christian person, right? If you hear her music, she's very much of the world, okay? And I'm not throwing stones. Listen, I'm not throwing any rocks at Nicki. I'm just calling it what it is, right? I see the evidence before me, and I just follow the evidence, right? So the truth is the truth, and you would not think of her as a Christian person. And if she is standing up for the Christians, what's wrong with us? What's wrong with us? As Christians, we're not speaking out about it. We just go day to day, just allowing all the nonsense that's going on around us to just continuously go on. While you've got Nicki Minaj standing up for Christians, while Christians don't even speak up for themselves. It's crazy, man. Let's see what she had to say.
Hello, everyone. I must say I am very nervous, so please.
Why would she be nervous?
Well, thank you, Ambassador Waltz, for this invitation. It is an honor to stand on this stage with you and the other distinguished speakers here today to shine a spotlight on the deadly threat faced by thousands of Christians in Nigeria. I would like to thank President Trump for prioritizing this issue and for his leadership on the global stage in calling for urgent action to defend Christians in Nigeria, to combat extremism, and to bring a stop to violence against those who simply want to exercise their natural right to freedom of religion or belief. I stand here as a proud New Yorker with a deep sense of gratitude that we live in a country where we can freely and safely worship God regardless of one's creed, background, or politics. No group should ever be persecuted for practicing their religion, like I recently stated on social media. And we don't have to share the same beliefs in order for us to respect each other. We're way beyond thinking or expecting or assuming for, the person sitting next to you to have the exact same beliefs. We're beyond that. That's ridiculous. But that shouldn't make one person feel less safe than anyone in any room. Music has taken me around the globe. I have seen how people, no matter their language, culture, or religion, come alive when they hear a song that touches their soul. Religious freedom means we all can sing our faith regardless of who we are, where we live, and what we believe. But today, faith is under attack in way too many places. In Nigeria, Christians are being targeted, driven from their homes, and killed. Churches have been burned. Families have been torn apart, and entire communities live in fear constantly, simply because of how they pray.
Think about that.
Sadly, this problem is not only a growing problem in Nigeria, but also in so many other countries across the world, and it demands urgent action. And I want to be clear. Protecting Christians in Nigeria is not about taking sides or dividing people. It is about uniting humanity. Nigeria is a beautiful nation with deep faith traditions and lots of beautiful barbs that I can't wait to see.
See, I told you,
When
man.
one's church, mosque, or place of worship is destroyed, everyone's heart should break just a little bit. And the foundation of the United Nations, with its core mandate to ensure peace and security, should shake. I am joined here today by peace builders, by faith leaders, by those who saw violence, saw rising intolerance, saw the threats clearly before us, and chose not to look the other way.
Amen. That's right.
I am inspired by their work to build interfaith ties, to see the humanity across the lines which might divide us, and to fight for security and liberty for all those who pray. I look forward to our discussion today, and I hope it will encourage deepened solidarity for us to urgently work together to ensure every person can enjoy the right to believe, to worship, and to live in peace.
To believe, to worship, and to live in peace. Now, this is a rapper who talks about things that are, completely against what I would call true streamlined Christianity, against a lot of, pretty much everything that Jesus ever had to say. But look at her. She's up there, man, and she's like, I've got to call this out. And you know what? I'll throw my hands up and I'll say, you know what? She's not taking sides. She's not saying, well, I'm taking up just for the Christians. She said a church or a mosque, right? She believes that people should be able to believe as they want to believe. And you know what? I agree with that. I don't think that there's that religion of any type or belief of any type should be pushed on anyone, because that's not a true conversion anyway. If it's forced on you, you don't truly believe that. You've been forced that. Right. And Jesus changes the heart. He's the one who brings you to him. He's the one that turns you around, and he's the one that gives you the faith that you have in order to believe in him. Right. But to just see the atrocity that's going on over there and no one speaking out about it is insane. It's insane. So let me know in the comments, man. Do you guys agree with Donald Trump about what's going on over there in Nigeria? Do you agree with Nicki Minaj in what she said, that people should be free to do whatever, to worship however, pray however, to live however they choose in those areas as well as here. And what do you think should be done? I mean, do you think that we should do like he said, go in there and put a stop to it? And if they're saying that they're protecting, the diversity, which is what makes them strong over Nigeria, then where's the protection for the little girls who were taken from that school just the other day? That's heinous. That's a heinous act. I mean, we know what is done to children over there in that area. So I just want you to kind of mull that over. I want you to think about that, because this is a very serious situation. They were taken for no other reason than the fact that they were Christian, and obviously the people who were involved in taking them probably have some ulterior motives as well. I'm sure we could probably agree on that. But the simple fact of the matter is, I mean, at what point do we say, you know what, enough is enough of all of this nonsense? And how do we go about doing it? Which brings us into our next topic, right? So Cam Higbee was at Dearborn the other day, yesterday or something like that. And during the protest, it got completely out of hand, right? He was attacked. I'm going to let him tell you. I'm not going to say everything that he says, because then you're hearing it twice. But what's really crazy is that with the police there refusing to help him after he was attacked. So what is going on in these cities? What's going on in these cities, man, where the people who are burning stuff, tearing things up, beating people up, the people who are attacking people and attacking police officers and everything, they're not being arrested, but the people who defend themselves are being arrested. I mean, that is an absolute flipped on the head situation, man. Whenever the victims become the villains and the villains become the victims in the eyes of the law, we got real problems, man. We got real problems. That's a real problem. That's something to definitely take into consideration, man. It really is. So let's hear what Cam has to say.
Hi, Cam Higbee. I'm a journalist, not a protester. This is my badge. Okay. Today on the streets of Dearborn, I was pepper sprayed, maced by protesters because I asked them simply why they were harassing and touching another individual who had stated repeatedly that he was only on their side of the street to talk to them and have a dialogue. My phone was smashed. You can see the broken camera right there. They stole $50 out of my pocket, and they stole my microphone receiver. I went and I told one of your officers, badge number 3668, that this had happened. He told me there was nothing that could be done about it unless I went to the station. I told him, I can't go to the station. I'm working, I'm doing my job. He said, I'm working too. I said, yeah, your job is to protect me and all of the people that are out here today, okay? So he said that I could go into the station later. I told him, you're never gonna catch the guy if I go into the station later. He's gonna leave, he's dressed head to toe in black bloc. I filmed the whole thing, but he had a mask on his face. You'll never, ever get an opportunity to arrest that person ever again if you don't go and get him right now. He said, sir, I can't leave my post. 5 minutes later, I caught him in the parking lot on a personal phone call, okay? Repeatedly today, I watched people that are in this room get attacked by other people that are in this room. I watched your officers not respond to those attacks repeatedly. Then I saw somebody who was in this group, which again, I'm a journalist. I'm just documenting what's going on, and I'm here to tell you what's going on. I saw somebody in this group get arrested. I asked the officers, habeas corpus, please articulate probable cause for arresting this person. They refused to. I asked name and badge number. They refused to give me their name and badge number as a member of the press with my badge clearly displayed. They would not tell me why they were arresting this person. They just did it, okay? Yesterday, I was exploring Dearborn. I came here just to document this from Seattle as a journalist, okay? I was exploring Dearborn. I walked up and down Michigan Avenue. There wasn't very many people out. Then we wanted to hear the call to prayer that we've heard so much about. So we went to a mosque. And at that mosque, I was followed by a drone. If I moved forward, the drone moved forward. If I went backwards, the drone went backwards. I went to a gas station, and that drone waited outside of the gas station, just above the door, for me to leave so it could begin following me.
Do you hear
again.
this?
I was followed by vehicles, and I was followed by individuals on foot. There was a lot of talking here today about sexism. So I'd like to quote the Prophet Muhammad, okay? One of my favorite quotes from the Prophet Muhammad. A woman's testimony is worth half that of a man's due to the deficiency of her mind. God created two sexes, one superior and one inferior. That's why your women wear hijabs, because they're inferior to men. That's why in most Muslim countries, they can't leave their homes without permission of a male guardian. Is my time up?
You have 30 seconds.
Oh, 30 seconds.
Yeah, go
Okay,
ahead.
great.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think I shouldn't feel like a dhimmi in my country. That's what I feel like in Dearborn, Michigan. It doesn't feel like home. I feel like a dhimmi, a second-class citizen, which is what Christians are in the majority of Muslim countries. Dhimmis, second-class citizens. And the policing in this city, that's exactly what happens. And I know rank-and-file officers in pretty much every city usually want to take care of these problems. You're the one giving the orders, Mr. Mayor. These guys
Got him.
definitely want to do something about it. Their business. Look at them. These guys are all business. Your orders. I'm done.
Go back to Seattle.
So, I mean, we see there with Cam that even a drone followed him around. So we've got the police and the city officials who are completely on the other side of this thing. You're not even allowed to be a journalist. He's not even allowed to be out there. They attacked him. They broke his camera. They broke his phone. They beat him up. And whenever he went and talked to the police about it, the police did not do anything about it. The police are not allowed to do anything about it because he's on the Christian side of this thing. He, as a Christian, on the Christian side of this thing, it's okay for him to be attacked. It's okay for his stuff to be broken. And it's okay for the government to watch him like he is the terrorist. Wow. Wow. Tina said that's not even the country she grew up in the 70s. That's exactly right, Tina. It's not. It's not the city. It's not the country that we grew up in the 70s and 80s, man. It's not. It has been taken over. And not by Islam. That's not what I'm saying. It's been taken over by the communist ideology. And that's what you're seeing unfold around you is communist ideology, Marxist ideology. It's overflowing, right? It's all around us. Yeah, well, of course they're not, Tina. They're not going to give their badge numbers. Of course not. They're able. We are in a lawless society in those areas, right? Law and order is bad. Violence and destruction is good, and that's just kind of how they're viewing it in those cities, man. Look at Chicago. Chicago, man, they won't arrest anybody. They won't arrest, drug dealers or murderers, but they'll arrest people who are out there, just trying to live a normal life. If you defend yourself in Chicago, you're the one who's going to be put in jail. Same thing with Portland. You'll be the one that's put in jail. In Portland, Nick, I can't think of Nick's last name, but he was out there just doing journalism. The guy jumped on him and beat him up. Whenever he tried to fight back, they came and arrested Nick, not the guy who jumped on him, beat him up, broke his camera. I think it's time for us to stay vigilant, man. It's time for us to wake up and see what's going on in the world around us. It's very easy for us to stay inside of our little bubbles and our little shells, right? And not do anything, not say anything, not speak out, not, nothing. And the longer that we stay quiet, the worse it's going to get. That's why I did this show. That's why I've started doing this show. Okay, and hopefully it will grow. I'm hoping that it will. But now we have another guy. This guy's name is Jake Lang is his name. And he is speaking out, so to speak. He's speaking out, but he's doing it in a way that I don't want to listen. You make your own decisions on if you agree with the way that he does it or not. And I'll speak a little bit more about that in a little while. But first, let's hear what he had to say at this town hall meeting.
All right, Mr. Edward Lang.
Commander Madu, you guys got to keep it down. Okay.
In 1900, the world was 30% white. Fast forward 125 years, we are down to 7%. The Islamification of Europe is particularly aimed at the destruction of white people. The Islamification of America is aiming to meet the same goal. Our people, white Christian, European, Western civilization, we built the arts. We built the Colosseum. We have ran the world into the industrial age. And now, this people here, the Muslim community, is looking to drag us back. They're looking to oppress women, oppress homosexuals. They're looking to destroy everything that makes America great. President Trump, send ICE into Dearborn. These people have overstayed their visas. They're H-1B chain migration invaders, and they have come to this country to destroy our way of life. We know exactly your laws in your book about lying to our faces, pretending to be Americans, wearing your suits. But that doesn't happen anywhere else where you guys are in charge. There are 53 Muslim majority countries, and in all of them, it is tyranny, destruction, it is shithole living. We have to call it what it is. You guys don't live like we do. We don't want you in our country. We will come and eat your shawarma in Somalia, okay? We don't need it here in Michigan. We don't need it in any part of America. We have a right to self-determination. Our founding fathers fought and died for our posterity, for white Americans. And we're being driven out. You come here and you marry 4 or 5 women and you outbreed us. You change the laws. You make all of our country look like the places that you fled from. We don't want you.
Now, here's my question, right? So you hear he's vehemently attacking Islam as a whole. I don't believe in broad brushstrokes, man, number one. Number two, to make it about race completely destroys every point that you could have made, man. I don't understand why no one can wrap their mind around this whole idea of it has nothing to do with that. It's ideologies, man. They have a different ideology. They have an intrusive ideology. Let's point to that. Let's not say, well, we're great because we're this color. That's the stupidest comment he ever could have made. And he takes it a step further. We're not done yet. We're not done with them yet. You know? But it's because of guys like this right here that people can stand back and point at all of us and say, oh, you're a racist and you're this and you're that. It's because of people just like this guy. Just like this guy. Let's go see what he does. I'm not even going to listen to the rest of what he has to say here. Let's go in and look at what he does out here in Dearborn. He's in Dearborn right now in this video. Let's see what he does here, man. Watch this. This is crazy. Now, y'all, I'm not sure if there's some cuss words in here. I apologize. I have not actually listened to it all the way through, so hopefully there won't be, but I don't know. So if there is, I want to tell you right now that I apologize.
Do you agree that the Prophet Muhammad is a rapist and a pedophile? Why are you working in America as police when you're really here to enforce Sharia law? Get out of America. We don't want you here. We don't want you here. Jesus is King of America. Jesus is King of America. Jesus is King of the world. Jesus is King of America. Thank you. Take some water. I'm good. I got pepper sprayed, but that happened in prison a lot on J6, so I'm not really affected by it anymore. What? Yeah, I got all my neck. America is a Christian country. Go back across the sea. Sharia law is not going to ever stand in America. And this traitor here, who bowed down in the mosque last week, Anthony Hudson. The American crusade has begun!
Cowards, we got no room for traitors. We got no room for cowards. We got no room for traitors. This is America first. This is America only.
You're worse. You're worse than the Islam. Islamic bastards, white men who turn against their own.
Another piece of shit. You might want to regret, buddy.
Anthony Hudson, you're a weak, spineless coward.
Weak and spineless.
Cuckold. Cuckold.
We got no place to go.
American men need to stand together against Islam. There can be no weakness in this country. We will be turned immediately. We will be turned immediately, like London, into a cesspool of infested migrants. Our country, our very way of life is at stake right now, America. Type of compromise with evil. The Bible tells us very clearly. Coverage now.
Okay, so he actually walked around with that bacon, hitting a Quran with it. I mean, at what point, you know who he reminds me of? He reminds me of a left-wing Antifa fascist. That's who he reminds me of, right? And listen, I've always heard the old term, you know, let's fight fire with fire. Listen, we do not need that look for us. I don't need him to speak for me. I am a Christian. I don't need people like this guy to go out there and speak for me, because I disagree with him vehemently in his approach. I disagree with it vehemently. I think the worst thing he can ever do is go out there and do that. And even worse, you know, he's given the left so much artillery to throw at us because he was a J6 partner. He was pardoned from January 6th, this guy right here. So he was given another chance. Donald Trump pardoned him. And now he's out here making Donald Trump look like a fool, making all Christians look like fools. I don't disagree with everything that he said, okay? I do know that it is the nature of Islam to take over the areas that it goes to, man. Let's just face it, right? If you look at Britain, man, it's a horrible situation they're in Britain over there. It's a horrible situation, right? So we know that that is the case. We know for a fact that that is the case and that that's exactly how it goes. But we have ways of handling it that don't involve, you know, vandalizing vehicles. It doesn't involve purposefully enraging people so that they will attack you so you can say that they attacked you. And that's what he's doing, right? When he takes that bacon out there, you know that, you know their beliefs, man. I disagree with their beliefs, but I don't think you have any right to go out there and purposely spit on their beliefs either. Maybe I'm wrong. You guys let me know in the comments. If I'm wrong, hey, man, you look, burn me up, man. Tell me where I'm wrong at. Show me where I'm wrong at. But I believe, as Christ did, I believe as Paul did and all of the other apostles, that there was a different way than that. There's a different way than that. I believe your voice should be heard. I believe you should be in every one of those town hall meetings. I believe you should be there. I believe you should be there at those protests. And I believe you should be doing journalism. And I believe you should be bringing these things to light. But whenever you yourself are in fact causing the problems, you make it worse on everybody else who stands for the movement, man. When you start to bring race into it, man, you've already lost them. You've lost everybody, man, because this has to do with ideologies, right? And even if you do bring race into it in certain ways to hold this superiority because of your color whenever you're talking, man, it makes you look like a fool, man. It makes you look like a fool. You want clicks. You want likes and shares is what you want. You want shock factor. And you want to get millions of views on YouTube. And you will. Hey, listen to me. You will, man. You will get them. You'll get them at the cost of the self-respect of every Christian walking inside of this country. You defame every single one of us. You make all of us look like terrible people. But hey, at least you'll get monetized on YouTube, right? I disagree with him. Long story short, Damein Donald, I disagree with this guy. I agree with a lot of his ideals, but with the way that he's doing this, I just don't see it as moving us forward at all. I don't see it as being productive at all. There's no productive end that comes out of what he's doing or the way that he's doing it. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, you guys let me know. If I'm wrong, tell me. Let me know if I'm wrong, you know? Yeah, Tina, exactly right. Tina says literally race baiting with bacon. Make it make sense. Exactly. Exactly right, Tina. So in that very moment, he just destroyed his own whole argument. He destroyed his own entire argument by the mode by which he went and did that. It's crazy. It's crazy. I would like to say one more thing about the kids who were abducted. You see right here, 7,000 Christians killed, 7,800 abducted in 2024. You have them to thank for this new show, because those numbers are staggering. And admittedly, this was done primarily by Islamic terrorists, right? People who hate Jesus. But even this, in my mind, does not make what this Lane guy is doing right. Tell me in the comments, do you? Do you think it's right? Do you think that's how he should be going about it? Do you think that we should start burning down cities because Antifa does? No. That's what separates us from them. That's what makes us different than them. Our ideas are what win the day. Common sense, common decency, things of that nature. Amen? Things of that nature. So with that stated, man, that's the first show here for the Morning Watch with Damein Donald. I hope that you guys have gotten some out of it. I hope it has been entertaining as well as informative, man. We'll switch back over here to the topic. So today we went over the Nigerian Christian genocide. We saw what Nicki Minaj had to say about the Nigerian Christian genocide, and kudos to her, man. I think that's a really, really great thing that she did by coming out and speaking out. Because I think there's a lot of people who really want to speak out, but whenever the mainstream's completely against you, you know, it's very hard for them to bring themselves to do that. So Cam Higbee being attacked, the police not being allowed to help him. The cop said, hey, man, I'm working, man. I can't do nothing. Well, your job is to arrest people who do what's wrong, who are out there committing crimes. So this guy's committing crimes, and you're not going to arrest him even though you're the one saying that you're working. That don't make any sense. You know what I mean? Makes no sense. Make it make sense. When the villains become the victims and the victims become the villains in the eyes of the law, listen to me, we're walking into a very serious place. It's rough. It's a rough place to walk into, man. It really, truly is. Tina, I'm not sure about the time that I'm going to do this yet. I just wanted to get this one out. It is a whole lot of work in the mornings, but I'm really going to shoot for a little earlier. I would like to do it like early in the morning and just have it put out there. So, you know, that's just kind of, we're shooting for it. So I'll try to let you know that as soon as I can. I'm hoping that it will take off. Tina, what are your thoughts? Do you think it was a good show? Was it entertaining and informative? Please, please, please let me know what you think about it. Do you think it has a chance to do any good across these platforms that we call the internet? Amen. Yeah. Let's give it a round of applause. Yeah. Amen. With that being stated, hey, I love you guys. Tina, thank you so much for being here and watching this whole episode with me. That is awesome of you. I love you. I love you, girl. You're great. I appreciate you always being there like that. You're awesome. So with that being stated, man, we'll be staying here hopefully at least 2 or 3 times a week from this point forward. And here at the Morning Watch, we want you to stay informed, stay grounded, and stay watchful. I'm Damein Donald, and that's the show.